think you start to realize how much of the standards are quite bogus. It's all social construction. It's completely made up, and it's just rules we follow because that's what society has dictated. And the more that we follow them, the more that they keep building, and we just accept for it to be true. And in an eloquent segue back to women's health, I think this is a lot of times what has been kind of pushed down for women's health is suppressing it is, you have to show up to work despite, having massive menstrual cramps or being, you might be at the end of your pregnancy and you're not on maternity leave just yet, or there might be all of these other facets, and women complaining about their health, and I'm using the word complaining in quotes, is seen as unprofessional, and you're meant to just do it with a smile on your face and get it done, and still might struggle to get to the top of the ladder if that should be your goal. So what I do find through Femtech, and I think, some of current events over the last few years, through Me Too, through a lot of bold leaders around the world, through, the global pandemic, is women are really finding a voice to be able to talk about their suffering, and to make it less of a taboo to chat about, to try to make it normalized that, I have to take a half day because of, I need to be home to breastfeed my child, or what have you. And workplace flexibility should really be able to accommodate these different things, because ultimately what workplaces are saying is if they're able to accommodate a woman or employee's full self, they actually care about you and not just you doing what you need to do to make them a successful company. So it's a very interesting thing that Femtech is allowing, and it can actually work, hand in hand with companies like Caia, which is a support service that works. It's a B2B service, B2B2C service that allows and provides key experts in every facet of health on demand, so that workplaces can easily get appointments or talk to an expert right away. Or the example that Cortina McCurry, the CEO, always gives is, she might be on a phone call rushing to work, needing to drop off her daughter at daycare, and the daughter has a rash, and she can easily get on the phone with an expert. Finding those companies for employers to work with are ultimately going to make their employees more productive, more efficient, if they know that outside of work is, being handled, is stable.
Yeah, I think that's the opportunity of, I guess, the entrepreneur, to when we sit in a position where we look at life through our experience and we say, why is it like that? That's the opportunity. That's the opportunity. And I'm a strong believer that the entrepreneur is key to progressiveness. We often fall back in society on thinking that we should get government to do it. But I say, just do it yourself. And, it can be done. You'll find the right energy. You'll find the right resources. You'll find the alignments that are needed to do. If you're passionate enough about the change, that's your opportunity to enter the fray and help society move forward. Otherwise, we're kind of just expecting the established apparatus, the system, to self-criticize. And when people are in power, that's really hard for them to do. And I don't think it really matters, what the gender of the power holders is. I just think that when there's power there, it's going to resist the change. And so, but at the end of the day, the change exists in the people. And so if we move forward and appeal to people and make sure that we are human-centered, we get the numbers. We get the numbers, we get the evolution that we're looking for. And that's a magnificent opportunity for entrepreneurs to actually embody the change and help realize it.
Yeah, and I would even tag on to that. You said, what if entrepreneurs just handled it themselves? And I would say, what could it look like if they handled it? Like, what is the dream vision of what it could be? And then you find out how to get there. Because I think you're right. And it's often something that we find, particularly in women's health issues, but more broadly, human rights issues, is it's very easy to find the problem. It's very easy to find systemically where the problem originated, and how you would like it to be different. It's very difficult to find an outcome of how to go forward. And something that the team at the Femtech Collective are really focusing on is trying to get away from, holding events or workshops or what have you, that are just panels of, this is going to happen because you're female. This is like the code for being a certain gender. Instead, finding practical sessions with key takeaways that this is the outcome, this is what you could do, or a solution you could do to start changing slowly, the problem that is at hand. Because it's slow incremental change that's really going to get us there. And it does seem like a lot of human rights, despite there being many more to solve, are progressing. But we really need to get to a point where we can innovate solutions to set us on the right path instead of just focusing on the problem at hand.
Yeah, that really resonates with me as well. So I guess just to cap off where we're at. So I'm a little bit obsessed about the potential of reimagining healthcare. And I really think it is going to be a blend of the digital tools that are available to us and that will be available to us in the future, and real world goods and service providers as an evolution. Where the tech in of itself will influence some of the thinking, but ultimately it's the culture in our community that will drive what needs to be done. I don't think just because there's some whiz-bang technology that's just been released that's a good reason to change our lives. But in our lives, there are opportunities and problems, and they're the reasons. They're the things that we should focus on. And then, so it's a bit like, let's figure out what we need to do and why we need to do it, and then ask the question how. So the tech should be secondary in a sense. That's kind of the enabler. But in the context of, I guess, the potential of the Femtech Collective, what's it going to look like in 5 to 10 years' time?
Yeah, that's exciting to think about, huh? I would hope that it's, in the vision for it is that we're the go-to resource globally. But it would be great for us to be able to have our arms, I suppose, in all the different facets of what it means to build the industry. So we've talked about doing our own independent research, partnering with the key universities around Australia, and hope maybe that will go globally at some stage, that are really focusing on women's health to recognize, and provide opportunities of, these are the holes. This is where innovation could be a fantastic way forward. We've also talked about, having our own Femtech fund to be able to be our own funding outlet, partnering with more financial services and firms to be able to fund those companies that we think are, the best return on investment, and also making that impact for Aussie women. There's a lot of assets that we're really looking forward to. I think a lot of that starts with we do have an Aussie-based Femtech market report coming out mid next year that was really going to amplify and show how much progress Australia has made over the last few years. It's going to be accompanied with an investment thesis for future investment to really show where the trends are going, what companies are the key players. There's incredible opportunity for us to continue further from every facet and area that you might be your specialty in this space. So anyone curious about the Femtech Collective, of course, reach out. I'm sure there'll be more information in the show notes.
Oh, they absolutely will. We'll put some links out. And big supporter, Megan. Thank you for allowing HealthTechX to have the opportunity to align. And we look forward to working with anyone within the collaboration community there around Femtech initiatives. And I really appreciate you taking the time today, sharing some thoughts and giving us a bit of insights into what you're doing and where you'd like to get to. So thank you, Megan.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.